In this lesson, we're going to explore the distributive property. The distributive property is one of the most used properties in algebra. We use the distributive property because if you notice in this first example, I can't add what's in parentheses. I have x plus 5. I don't know what x is, and because I don't know what x represents, I cannot add these together. They're not like terms. So in this case, we want to simplify this and get rid of the parentheses. And the only way to do that is to use the distributive property. Now think about what the word distribute means. The word distribute means to give out. And that's kind of like what we're doing here with the distributive property. We're giving out the 2 to everything inside of the parentheses. So that means that we need to give the 2 to the x and the 5. And when I say give the 2, we're actually going to be multiplying. So when we use the distributive property, we're going to be multiplying 2 times every term inside of the parentheses. So 2 times x is 2x. And then I've got to go back and also distribute 2 to the 5. So 2 times 5 is 10. So the simplified answer without the parentheses is 2x plus 10. Now, we're going to take a look at another example. And for this example, we're going to do 3 times the quantity x minus 7. Now, for this example, we're going to do the exact same thing. This time we need to distribute 3 throughout the parentheses. The only thing that's different here is that we have a minus sign instead of a plus sign. But the process remains the same. We're still going to multiply 3 times x, which is 3x. But this time I'm going to bring down the minus sign, and I'm going to multiply 3 times 7, which is 21. So the final answer is 3x minus 21. Now I'm going to do one more example for you, and that example is going to demonstrate what happens when we distribute a negative number. So in this example, I'm distributing the negative 2. Notice that the 2 has the little negative sign here, and that means I need to distribute negative 2 throughout the parentheses. So I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to multiply negative 2 times x, which is negative 2x. And then I can bring down the minus sign, but I have to remember to multiply negative 2 times 4, which is negative 8. Now, when you simplify an answer, you don't want to have 2 signs side by side like here. We have a minus and then a negative. So when we have a minus and a negative, we could change this to plus, plus, because we can keep, change, change. So when you subtract a negative, you're actually adding a positive. So we could rewrite this as negative 2x plus 8. Now, what I have found is that when you're working with signs, especially when you get the double signs here, a lot of people lose their sign. And it's one of the trickiest things to do when working with the distributive property. So to avoid that, what I recommend doing is kind of a different strategy where we're going to multiply negative 2. So negative 2 times x is negative 2x. That doesn't change. But this time we're going to think of multiplying negative 2 times negative 4. We're going to take the sign in front of each term. So negative 2 times negative 4 is positive 8 because negative times negative is positive. And then I'm just going to go ahead and write the plus 8. That helps to eliminate the double sign and losing a sign when you're using the distributive property. So I'll do one more example for you because I just want to make sure that you've got this. And I'm going to do y plus 7 here. So negative 3 times the quantity y plus 7. We're going to multiply negative 3 times positive y. That's negative 3y. And then we're going to multiply negative 3 times positive 7. That's negative 21 because negative times positive is negative. Since it's negative 21, I'm going to write it as minus 21. Otherwise, I would have gotten plus negative 21, and then I would have had the double signs. So it's easier to multiply the number and take the sign in front, get your sign, and then just include that in your answer. If it's positive, it's plus 8. If it's negative, it's minus. Okay? I hope that helps as you're using the distributive property.